Chapter 16. Getting underway. To unmoor. Getting underway from a single anchor. To cat and fish. To get underway with a wind blowing directly out and riding head to it. With a rock or shoal close astern. When riding head to wind and tide, and to stand out close hauled. Wind road with a weather tide. Tide road casting to windward. Tide road wearing round. Unmoor. Pay out on your riding cable, heaving in the slack of the other. When the other is short, trip it. Cat and fish, and heave in on your riding cable. Instead of this method, the anchor which you are not riding by may be weighed, if it is a small one, by the longboat. Send the longboat out over the anchor, take aboard the buoy rope, carry it over the roller in the boat's stern or through the end of a davit, clap the watch tackle to it, and weigh it out of the ground. This done, and the buoy rope and tackle secured to the boat, heave in on the chain on board, which will bring the anchor alongside, the boat approaching at the same time. When under the bow, cast off the fasts to the boat, heave up the anchor, cat and fish. Getting under way from a single anchor. It is the duty of the chief mate to see all ready forward for getting under way, the rigging fair for making sail, the cat and fish tackles rove, and the fish davit at hand. Heave short on your chain and pawl the windlass. Loose all the sails, if the wind is light, and sheet home and hoist up topsails, topgallant sails, and royals. If there is a stiff breeze, set topsails alone, whole or reefed. You should always, if it will answer, cast on the opposite side from your anchor. That is, if you are riding by your starboard anchor, cast to port. Brace your head yards aback and your after yards full for the tack you mean to cast upon. The sails being set, man the windlass again, give her a sheer with the helm, and trip your anchor. The mate reports when it is away. As soon as it is away, hoist the jib. The fore topsail aback will pay her head off. Put the helm for sternboard. When her head is off enough, fill away the head yards and haul out the spanker, shifting the helm for headway. Trim the yards for your course, and make sail on her. If the wind is light and the sea smooth, you may cat and fish your anchor after you get under way. But it is best in a rough sea to keep the vessel hove to until the anchor is catted and fished. To cat and fish an anchor. When the anchor is lifted and brought underfoot, pawl the windlass, keeping a good hold on the chain. Overhaul down the catblock and hook it to the ring of the anchor. Stretch along the catfall and let all hands tally on. Set taut on the cat tackle and pay out a little chain. Hoist away the anchor to the cathead and belay the fall. Pass the cat stopper through the ring of the anchor, through the chalk, belay it to the cattail, and seize it to its own part. Overhaul down the fish tackle. Hook the lower block to the pennant, and hook the fish hook to the inner fluke of the anchor. Rig out your fish davit across the forecastle, and put the bight of the pennant into the sheave-hole. Get a guy over it, near the outer end, to keep it down, and another at the inner end, to keep it out. Get the shoe over the side, to fend off the bill of the anchor. Hoist the fluke well up, pass the shank painter under the inner arm and shank, bring it inboard, and belay and stop it to the timber heads. Rig in the davit, unreeve the catfall and fish tackle. A vessel may sometimes be got under way to advantage with the jib and spanker, particularly if the wind is blowing directly out of the harbor. Heave the anchor up at once. When it has broken ground, hoist the jib, and as she pays off, haul out the spanker. Keep her under this sail until the anchor is catted and fished, then make sail and stand out. To get under way, with wind blowing directly out and riding head to it. Suppose the ship to have her starboard anchor down. Heave short and clear away the jib, and put the helm to port. Heave again until the anchor is up to the bows, cat and fish. When the anchor is away, hoist the jib. Let her pay off under the jib. When she gathers headway, shift the helm and let fall the sails. When she gets before it, sheet home and hoist the topsails, set the foresail, and haul down the jib. Make sail aloft. To get under way, riding head to the wind, with a rock or shoal close astern. Suppose you wish to cast the ship on the starboard tack. Heave in a safe scope on the chain, and run out a kedge with a hawser from the starboard bow. Cast off the yardarm gaskets and masthead the topsails, keeping the bunts fast. Heave taut on the hawser and brace the yards up for the starboard tack fore and aft, hauling the jib sheet to windward. Heave up the anchor, taking in the slack of the hawser, cat it, pass the stopper, and have all ready for letting go. Haul ahead on the hawser, and as soon as the kedge is short apeak or comes home, sheet home the topsails, run up the jib, and put the helm a starboard. As soon as the jib fills, run the kedge up and take it in. When the topsails take and she gathers headway, draw the jib, set the spanker, board fore and main tacks. Haul aft sheets and right the helm. If she falls off too rapidly when the topsails take, give her the spanker and mainsail, easing off the jib sheet. When she comes to, haul aft the jib sheet and board the foretack. If when the kedge is away, she falls off on the wrong side, let go the anchor. To get under way, riding head to wind and tide, and to stand out close hauled. Suppose you wish to cast to port. Heave short, keeping the helm a starboard. Set the topsails. Brace up the after-yards for the starboard tack, and back the head yards. Man the windlass and heave up the anchor. When the anchor is away, hoist the jib. When she has paid off sufficiently, fill away the head yards, shift the helm for headway, set the spanker, and make sail. Cat and fish, either before or after filling away. If you have no room to cast on either side, but have a vessel on each quarter, heave short, set the topsails, jib, and spanker. Brace all the yards half up for the starboard tack. Weigh the anchor, and put the helm to port. The tide acting on the rudder will sheer her head to starboard. When the sails take aback and give her sternway, the rudder and after sails will act against the head sails, and she will drift fairly down between the two vessels. Keep her off or to by the spanker and jib. When you are clear, cast to port, or haul up the spanker, shiver the after-yards, and let her go off before it. To get under way windward, with a weather tide, that is, a tide setting to windward. Suppose you wish to cast to port. Heave short, loose the sails, and set the topsails. Square the after-yards, and haul in the starboard head braces. Heave again, and when you are away, put the helm to port and hoist the jib. When she has paid off enough, fill away the head yards and shift the helm for headway. To get under way, tide road, casting to windward. Suppose the wind to be a little on the starboard bow, and you wish to cast to starboard, standing out on the larboard tack. Having hove short and set the topsails, brace up the after-yards for the larboard tack, and brace the head yards aback. Weigh the anchor, keeping your helm to port, and hauling the spanker boom well over to starboard. When she comes head to the wind, hoist the jib with the sheet to port. Shift the helm for sternway. As she falls off, draw the jib, fill the head yards, and shift the helm for the headway. To get under way, tide road, wearing round. Suppose you have the wind on your starboard quarter, and are obliged to wear her round and stand out on the larboard tack. Set the topsails, square the head yards, and shiver the after yards. When the anchor is away, put the helm hard a starboard, and give her the foresail, if necessary. Having headway, she will go round on her keel, and you may proceed as in wearing. If a vessel is in a confined situation, without room to cast by her sails or by the tide, she may be cast by a spring upon her cable, leading in that which will be the weather quarter. The spring may be bent to the ring of the anchor before it is let go, or it may be seized to the cable just outside the hawse hole. It will be remembered that when a vessel is riding head to the tide, the helm is to be put as though she had headway, and when the tide sets from astern, as though she had sternway. But you should be reminded that when you have the wind and tide both ahead, If the vessel, after you weigh your anchor, goes astern faster than the current, oh my god, the helm must be used as for sternboard.